Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video today. If you're new here, I am a full-time reseller. That means that I buy personally clothing. Lots of people buy other things, but I buy secondhand clothing and I resell it on a site called Poshmark. And I do that for a living. So it's my full-time gig. I quit my job 4 years ago to start doing this, and I've been documenting my journey since. So thanks for following along. Today, I am going to share with you a math equation to help you figure out exactly how many listings you need to do in a day to make the amount of money that you want to make. So if you are enjoying these videos, please take a second to like it down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell if you want to get notified. We put out daily videos. So that's my intro. Let's dive into this video. I'm so excited. So I love math. Math I have always been really good at, and it's something that I use on a daily basis to make me feel more secure about my business. If you are keeping up with your bookkeeping, you're going to be able to sleep a lot better at night because you'll be able to do equations like this to figure out how many listings you need to do in a month. You'll be able to do equations to figure out what your inventory turnover looks like. There's so much you can do with math. So this is a pretty basic formula, and it just kind of breaks it down into how many listings you'll need to do in a month to hit the gross sales amount that you want to hit, which means before fees and all of that. And then also how many, from there we can break it down into how many you need to do a day, right? So it makes it very simple. And because I'm a full-time reseller, I depend on my income from reselling to pay my bills. And that means I need to be on track. I can't have a month where I don't make enough money to pay my bills, to pay myself so I can pay my bills. So for me, keeping track of all of these numbers is really, really important, and it really will help my business grow. And as I want to grow, I can adjust these numbers. So we're going to start today with how to gross $10,000 a month on Poshmark. But let's say I wanted to double this and I was ready. I was like, okay, I'm hitting that $10,000 every month. Now I want to get up to 15 to 20. We just adjust our numbers and we just work on that, and we're consistent, and those numbers will actually happen. So let's dive right in. I've actually written it down on a piece of paper too to help you guys hopefully follow along a little bit easier. But the first thing we're going to do is how to gross $10,000 a month on Poshmark. You're going to need to know two things. So the first thing you're going to need to know is your average selling price, which most of us already know. Mine last month was $26, you guys. But on average, I would say it's right around 20. And that number makes this equation a little bit easier for you guys to follow along with. So we're going to go with $20 a month. And then you're also going to need to know your sell-through rate. So your sell-through rate is the number of items sold versus the number of items received times 100, essentially. So for me, like what I do is I take the number of items I sold last month was just under 300. So, and the number of items I had listed on average was 600. So I just divide those two. It ends up being, I have about a 50% sell-through rate. I've had that sell-through rate for a long time now. That's just what my sell-through rate is. That is a high sell-through rate, and I know that it's because A, I sell items a little bit less, and then B, I also have a large following. So most sell-through rates in clothing are going to be right around 30%. But you'll figure out yours on your own. The easiest way to figure it out is to just download the Poshmark sales report, like I would do it for as long as you could. So if you have like a 12-month, you could go back 12 months and figure it out for a year, and then do it, every month, look at what your sell-through rate is and divide that out on average. However you want to figure it out, you need a sell-through rate. So whatever your personal sell-through rate is, mine is about 50%. And that's an easy number to work with for this video. So we're going to go with that number. So we're going to know our average sell price and our sell-through rate. If you know those two, you can do this equation. So let's see. The first thing you need to do is you need to take what you want to make and you need to divide that by your average selling price. So we're going to take that 10,000 that I want to make. So 10,000, we're going to divide that by 20. And that gives us 500. So that means I need to list 500 items, right? So if I'm selling things for 20, I need to sell 500 of them to make $10,000. That's very basic, right? Like everyone can figure out how many items you need to sell if you plus your average sell price to get to that number. So that's an easy one to do. The next thing you want to do is you want to take the number of items. So I need to sell 500 items a month. I know that. I need to sell 500 items a month. There's 30 days in a month. So I'm going to do, on average, again, I know sometimes it's 31. I know this month, February, is 29, this leap year, right? We're going to go on average. So take the 500, divide it by days in the month, 30, and that is going to give you the items you need to sell every single day. So mine is 16.6, so we're going to round that up to 17. So I need to sell 17 items a day at that $20 average sell price in order to hit my goal. So then you take the items per day, and I'm going to multiply that by 2 because there's something poking me. Because I know that I'm selling half of the items that I list are actually selling in that month. So let's say that you are selling 25%, you do it by 4, and so on and so on. So I am doing, and this is where most people get lost, but hang in there with me. You can figure this out. You are smart, I promise. So I'm doubling mine because only half of them are selling. So 17 times 2, number of items I need to sell every month, times 2, because I'm only selling half of them, is 34. So I need to list, this just told me exactly how many items I need to list every day. I need to list on average 34 items every single day in order to get to what's above here. So then I'm going to take my 34 items I need to list a month, and I'm going to times it by 30. That's 1,020 items. So that's 1,020 new listings a month, because remember we rounded up. And then I'm going to take my listings, my new listings, 1,020. I'm going to divide that by my sell-through rate, and that's going to give me listings sold. So if I divide that by 2, I get 510. If we go back up to the top here, how many items do I need to sell a month? 500. So we're going to take 510 items that I need to sell times 20, my average sell price. And that's going to lead me to what? 10,200, which is what I want to be grossing on Poshmark. There we go. It really is that simple. So if you know those two simple things, your average sell price and your sell-through rate, you can literally break it down this simple to figure out exactly how many items you need to list in a day to make that amount of money. And then from there, the other thing, if you know how long it takes you to do a listing, you'll know how many hours you need to put into your business. So for me, it takes about an hour to do 10 listings. That's photographing, that's everything, start to finish, right? So that means that I need to put about 3.5 hours into my business every single day, purely on the listing side, not anything else, not sourcing, not shipping, not sharing my closet, anything else. So I need to do 3.5 hours of work dedicated to listing every single day. So on my calendar, I should be blocking that off. And now I know I want to take days off to spend with my family, so we can adjust that because we know the average a month. So I can block out on a monthly basis. So I know I need to do 1,020 listings a month, right? Let's just cut that down to 1,000. I need to do 1,000 new listings a month. I can cut that into doing 250 a week, right? Which is 50 listings a day if I want to work 5 days a week. And now I also know how long it takes me to do a listing. So that's 5 hours a day, 5 days a week of listing in order to hit that $10,000 goal. I mean, I know I can do that. I know that I'm a full-time seller. So that's only 25 hours of my 40-hour work week. And when you're working for yourself, you're generally putting in more time. The problem is that it's very easy to waste time. It's very easy to get distracted, especially if you're working from home. It's very easy to go do the dishes, whatever it is. But what I can do now is I can go on my calendar, which I actually have one right here in my hand, and I can block out that time for myself. You need to be blocking out time. You need to do that for yourself. You need to say, okay, these 5 hours on this day are my listings. And then how many listings do you know you'll get done, right? And maybe one day you want to work for 10 hours and you want to list for 10 hours straight. And you're like, okay, that will get me 100 listings. So 100 of my 1,000 listings are done on X day. Block out your time. But blocking out your time is almost pointless if you don't know what you'll be doing with that time. And it's easy to say like, hey, I'm just going to list during this time. But if you can say, hey, I'm going to list 50 items, whatever it is, I'm going to list 50 items in these 5 hours. And I know that's going to get me closer to my goal at the end of the month. So that is my trick for Poshmark. I hope all of that made sense. I know I just threw a ton of numbers out there for you guys. I'll take a picture of the sheet as well, and I'll put it over on Instagram if you guys want to go check it out and look at it. If you have any questions, make sure you leave a comment down below. I'll come back and I will definitely be answering these questions. And you can do this. You can absolutely do this. And you'll feel so much more empowered and strong and ready to go as soon as you write out the equations and you know. The other thing about this is like, now I know I need to source, 1,000 items a month. And what am I going to, if I'm sourcing at normal Goodwills, that's going to cost me about $8,000. It's $8 on average price. If I'm sourcing at the outlet, that's $1 an item. So it will cost me about $1,000 to make that $10,000. So that's the next step. Getting even deeper into this is knowing what your average cost of goods sold is, and then putting that into this equation as well to know what you'll be spending to make this, and then breaking it down even more. So after your overhead, let's say, I know that it's going to cost $2,000 minimum in Poshmark fees, $1,000 minimum in cost of goods sold, and then I want to pay myself X amount of dollars. I want to pay myself $5,000. That leaves $2,000 left in cash flow to run my business. Like, can I afford to hire an employee out now to do those listings? Like, you can figure, if you know your numbers, you guys, you can know so much about your business. I'm begging you. A lot of people ask me, when is the right time to hire an employee? And it's like, well, know your numbers. Know your numbers. So, hey, I need to hire an employee, which means I need to be selling $20,000 a month. That means I need to do X amount of listings. That means I want my new employee to be doing this many listings, right? Because it's costing me so much. Like, you can really break it down so well with this basic equation. So let's run through it one more time. Know your average sell price and your sell-through rate. The amount you want to make divided by your average sell price equals the number of items you need to sell. The number of items you need to sell divided by days in the month equals the items you need to sell per day. The items you need to sell per day times whatever like sell-through rate is equals the listings per day. The listings per day times days in the month, that's how many you need to list each month. And then however many you need to sell times your average sell price should be the same as the number you started with. You should start and end with approximately the same number. Whew. Okay, that's my mouthful for you guys. If you have questions, again, please make sure you leave them down below. I know that math can be overwhelming for a lot of us. Spelling is overwhelming for me, but math is easy for me. We all have our strengths. I'm here for you guys. Let me know what you think of this video. If you want more math equations, I know it's a lot. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. And I just want you to be successful in your businesses. And I want you to sleep well at night, knowing that you have a good roadmap and you can forecast. Forecasting is a good thing to be able to do. Thanks, everyone. Bye.